Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to lecture 7. In the last lecture we discussed few elements of the people and community. In this lecture also we will continue that discussion. Especially in this lecture we will discuss the dimensions and the few concepts of the community organizations and how to involve the community organizations in the municipal governance and planning. So, let us start. In this lecture we will discuss types of community and the public organizations, self-help group, community based organizations, non-governmental organizations, and apart from that any other organizations who are working in the urban local bodies, and what are the styles and strategies to working with this community and people, that also we will discuss. And today we will show one case example how municipalities can involve all these kind of organizations. So, let us start with the discussion. So, there are various kinds of community organizations which are working within the ULB. So, one could be that various NGOs who are working, you know the full form of NGO is non-governmental organizations. These are basically some society or organizations which is registered in government department, and basically the NGOs work in the social sector and obviously it will be non-profit organizations. So, since they are registered in the government department, they run and they work in the social sector and they are non-profit organizations. So, they run on the funding of the government. So, when you say government, they can get funding from the central government, state government or urban local bodies. So, NGOs will be working at the local level with the municipalities. Apart from the NGOs, there are various community based organizations. For example, you might have heard about the scheme Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rozgar Yojana. In short, we call it as a SJSRY. So, under that scheme there are various neighborhood group or neighborhood committee and community development society. So, this kind of structures are there which works along with the urban local bodies to perform particular function. The objective of this neighborhood level groups are to improve the livelihood condition of the poor people. Apart from this organization, there are clubs which are working at the mohalla level or working level, spontaneous people organization, residents associations could be there. And as I discussed in the last few lectures that there could be organizations like professional organization, businessman, shopkeeper, and other. There are many actually there are many organizations who are working at the community level or they are working at the ULBs which need to be involved or participative in the course of planning and the urban governance. In the self-help group, we have discussed the self-help group is the group consisting the women member of a particular area and they survive on contribution they register in the urban local bodies, register, and they also get some amount of funding for particular purpose, that is livelihood improvement. Apart from that, they get training so that they can improve their performance and profession towards the same objective, livelihood improvement. Okay. So, this is the concept of the self help group. For this reason it is called and in India, in the urban local bodies, there are a particular structure of self help group. Let me explain that for the better understanding. The bottommost self help group is called as neighborhood group. So, neighborhood group is a very small group which may consist 8 to 10 member of the women participants from various families. So, they contribute the money or the finance and make a group, register the group in municipality, and they perform a particular work. They may be involved in some kind of small scale industries, they may be involved in some other kind of industries. At times they need training, they need exposure, and also they need some kind of facilitation. So, neighborhood group is the bottommost group which is having connection with the family. The next level of group is neighborhood community. It consists of several neighborhood group. So, if we call neighborhood group as NG, so several NGs will form a neighborhood community. So, from the NG there will be representation. Similarly, 8 to 10 or more neighborhood groups can represent one neighborhood community, and ideally at every ward there could be 1 or 2 neighborhood community, because number of neighborhood groups will be large enough. But at local level, at the city level, handling or managing so many neighborhood groups and neighborhood community will be difficult. That means there is, for that reason, another higher level of structure is created, that is called Community Development Society. In short, we are calling it as CDS. So, CDS is formed with several neighborhood committee. So, in CDS there will be number of neighborhood committee. So, in a city like say city of 2 lakh to 3 lakh population, there could be 3 to 4 CDS. So, this CDS will represent in ULB. That means, those who are working at the neighborhood group or at the family level, they have a channel of communication via neighborhood community and community development group to send some communication to the urban local bodies and vice versa. So, this kind of structure is present in India under the this scheme, Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rozgar Yojana. So, this scheme is a very older scheme, and out of this scheme various community development societies, neighborhood community, neighborhood group, they are working, and most importantly many community development societies are there who are very importantly involved in development work of the municipality. So, that is a good outcome of this activity. Apart from the SHG, the self help group, there could be other community based organizations, as I discussed, like shopkeepers association, the local organizations, clubs, etc. They are also very important part of the decision making and the people's governance. So, apart from the self help group, CBO is another very important part that need to be consulted. Non-governmental organization, I have already discussed about it. So, non-governmental organization work in collaboration with the municipal body, and they also need to be consulted time to time. So, apart from this, there are other public and private organizations or community. There could be there could be local panchayats, there could be surrounding municipalities or the Gram Sabha, they can be also interacted during the development work, because some of the works in the municipalities or the urban areas are there which may not be limited within the geographical profile within the municipality, they may be required to extend beyond the geographical boundary. That is why all those consultations will be required. So, having said that, I tell you I will share some case example which happened during 2004 to 2008 in India. You know that a flagship program called Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, which came 2004 and it continued in 2014, and later on it was replaced by Amrut. And when the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission came in 2004, and that time another few more projects came in India. For example, one project I am going to show, that is Kolkata Urban Services for the Poor. It is basically a DFID funded program. The basic objective of this, all the programs were to have some reforms in terms of change in the urban local bodies, and objective of the reform was to make urban local bodies functioning in a better way. So, one of the reform was to planning function, that is urban local bodies will do the city planning for the first time, and with the city planning will be done through completely through the participation process, participations of the individual, participation with the families, participation with the community organization. So, that is what I am going to show right now. So, this ladders of citizens participations I have shown in the last lecture. I have just showing this just to relate this with our case study. In this diagram we told you that partnership, delegated power and citizens control is the actual participations, not the other one, other 5. So, let us see how this all practices happen during that time. So, it is called CASP experience of draft development plan. This example is taken from West Bengal for the city of Kolkata. So, the full form is Kolkata Urban Services for the Poor, in short it is CASP. So, as per the Municipal Act, preparation of the draft development plan which was mandatory, it is a DFID funded project, government of UK, and under the DDP the urban planning assistance was given to ULB so that they can execute the urban planning function. Third party agency internal appraisal, as a part of the process to maintain the quality, there is a provision that another third party, mostly those third parties were institutions, are appointed to see the quality of the development plans and to give time to time inputs on that planning, even though the plan has been done by the internal planning group and with the consultation with the all the community groups. So, this is the map of state of West Bengal. We have taken the city of Kolkata as an example. So, this is called Kolkata metropolitan area. I hope that you remember the meaning of metropolitan area we discussed in the first few lectures. The metropolitan areas are basically contiguous development of the many urban areas, many cities. Here we can see that there are 41 urban local bodies. So, in this diagram this is river Hooghly, which is a part of river Ganga, and the green areas, these are the urban local bodies, and the white areas, these white areas I am just marking the white areas. These white areas are panchayat areas or the village areas, and this is the largest municipal corporation, that is Kolkata Municipal Corporation within metropolitan area. Now, as a part of development planning process, the draft development plan was mandated for each and every urban local body. So, out of all these 41 urban local bodies, all of them were mandated and all of them they prepared the draft development plan in a participatory method. So, we will see that what was the method and how they have involved the citizens in this whole process. There are 3 components in DDP, component 1, 2 and 3. Largely component 1 was involved in physical development of the city, The second component was largely involved with economic development. You can see the subcomponents for the better understanding, and component 3 was involved with the organization. So, the first component, the subcomponents are slum infrastructure, intra-municipal infrastructure, trans-municipal infrastructure, and land use development and environment development. In component 2 there are livelihood, economic, social, that means health and education development. So, it is economic and social both, and in component 3 it is the organization development, process development, citizens interface plan and financial plan. So, these 3 components were designed to be done in 3 stages. The stage 1 consisting 1 month, stage 2 consisting 9 months, stage 3 consisting 6 months. So, stage 1 involves the initial part, stage 2 involves the major analysis and formulation of the plan, and stage 3 involves the formulation of the writing of the report and the validation part. Out of this I have highlighted few stages or few steps which involves intensive public participation, citizens participation and community participation. For example, step 1, it is introducing the DDP to the population. In this stage they used to call each and every citizens by electronic media, by print media, in a common large gathering or large hall in ward and also in the municipalities, and they used to make PowerPoint presentation. They used to explain the concept of DDP, what is the planning and what will be the process of the planning, what is expected from the citizens, and out of that they used to give time to the citizens so that they can come up with a pre-thought and about their expectation in the later stage. Like step 4. In this step you can see that this stage is written as conducting planning workshop. In this workshop the citizens will be asked to mention their requirement in terms of physical, social, economic requirement for the development. So, this step 1 and step 4, the step 1 gives the sensitization and step 4 gives the actual requirement of the population. In the stage 2 you can see the formulation of the vision and objective. Again the planning team will visit the wards and the community groups, and they will talk about the municipal vision and objective. For each and every category what will be the development objectives they will form, and accordingly they will refine the objective based on the suggestions of the citizens group and the community organizations. In the third stage you can see that this step which is called DDP quality review and the public validation. That means after doing all the stages here, that means formulation of the report and submission of the report, they will place the report to the citizens for some time. In this case at least 1 month was the mandatory time which was given to the citizen for their checking and for their validation. If any citizen or citizens group or community group find any problem or any shortcomings, they can immediately inform to the planning group or the planning authority, so that they can incorporate the corrections and they can incorporate the suggestions in the further revision. So, that was the method, and after that it will be adopted by the council and it will be sent for the approval to the higher authority like district authority or the metropolitan authority. In this case it was sent to Kolkata Metropolitan Planning Committee, which is a higher authority in terms of planning and decision making for the whole metropolitan area. Now, let us see how it happened. So, public participations happen in various stages. The first stage was the sensitization, then the public meeting, focused group discussion of the community level, that is the problem identification, what is the problem at the local level, then meeting with the councillor to frame the vision and the objective, then formulation of the plan with the help of the third party agency. So, taking the input here in the first stages, the plan were made at this stage. Next is the priority framework. Please see this is very important, priority framework based on the technical ground and then internal appraisal. So, this priority framework is done based on the citizens input. You have seen that in urban governance earlier the priorities were set by the politicians, priorities were set by the administrators, but now in this framework the priorities were set by the people. So, in a particular framework, so that I will share with you how that was done. And then internal appraisal, that is the plan is given to some third party agency for their quality check, and then it will come back, and in the last it will be kept for open public validation for third party and the public and the community group for some period of time for the corrections and the suggestions. Now, I told you about the priority framework. So, this is the framework for the priority. So, in the left side you can see the criteria. I am very sorry that the font size is very small, but I will read for you so that you can understand. So, criteria 1 is the number of beneficiary, criteria 2 is the priority for the sector, that is the if the sector is very much priority areas, suppose some municipalities are having disaster regarding flood, regarding landslide, etc. So, that becomes the priority set by the municipality. Then conformity with their plan, that is with their overall plan, that is the intra municipal plan, land use plan, master plan. Some municipalities fail to maintain the conformity with the higher level plan. So, that has to be checked and given the score. Current level of commitment to the project. So, the project which is proposed, whether for that project is there current commitment, commitment means whether there is a financial commitment by the government, whether there is a commitment by the municipality or the community group in terms of the manpower. So, those will be seen under the criteria 4. Sustainable in terms of the operational cost and the capacity of the agency. Any proposed can be suggested, but we have to see that whether the project is sustainable or not. If the project has sufficient manpower and the financial support to sustain over a time period, then that project gets higher score in terms of this framework. So, that is very important part. Then time required, time is very important for any project. So, so time is given very important thing. Land availability, whether you have land in the municipality or not, because land is a very important resource. The next lecture we will discuss on the land matter. Then per capita cost, that is if a project cost is x, so x divided by the population, what is the cost incurred for that project for that per capita. Then if that project includes any cost related to rehabilitation, leveraging of existing assets and capacity, that also has to be seen. And based on that there are scores like 3, 2, 1, and the criteria for these scores are also written in this chart, and based on these criteria I will show one example how the scores are calculated and given the priorities from a particular municipality. You can see the projects, I just read for you: green recycling of waste plastics, fencing and beautification of the trenching ground, shifting of some market, park and playground, afforestation, disaster management. Now, you can see that these are the criteria. Earlier slide you have seen, let me show you again that criteria. There are 9 criteria total. So, out of this 9 criteria they have given the scores, and this is the total score. So, based on the total score, the highest score getter gets the priority number 1. So, that project will be done first in that municipality. So, let me tell you that this scoring mechanism is dependent on the people's feedback also. So, in this mechanism, through the participations and involvement, not only the suggestions came to the municipal level and it got some place in the municipal plan, but also the relative priority of the projects got reflected from the current situation, and it is not dependent on a particular person, it is dependent on the requirement of the community at large. That is what reflected in this particular slide. So, having said that, let me summarize today's lecture. In today's lecture we have discussed various dimensions of the community groups. We have told you that apart from the people and the families, there are community groups or the organizations who are working in the urban local bodies. For example, NGOs, self-help groups, and then other community based organizations, neighboring panchayats, there could be financial institutions like banks, etc. So, for the planning and day to day service delivery, a municipality and urban local government must involve them in the development process, and they must include them in the participation. And with that, I have shown you one example of the Kolkata urban services for the poor, how they have in every stage they have involved population, people and the public organization, starting from the inception stage to the problem identification stage to the prioritization stage and the public validation also. So, this method or the process shows that it is possible to involve people in the plan making and the decision making process. When in some module in the later in this course we will discuss the urban and the regional planning, that time I will discuss few more cases related to concurrent practices in India, where the municipal authorities and corporations, they have involved community in a better way to mobilize the land, to mobilize the finance, to mobilize the decisions, everything. So, with this I would like to conclude this lecture. The next lecture, as I mentioned, would be on the land as a basic resource. Every municipal authority must understand land as a basic resource. So, if the population becomes or people becomes one pillar of the governance, then land becomes the second pillar of the urban governance. So, that is what we are going to discuss in the next lecture. So, with this I thank you very much for attending this lecture.